Hey there, my name is Dr. Drew and welcome here to this video where I'm going to be talking about how to get real with yourself while finding joy amidst the journey. Here on Beyond Transitions, I like to really focus on how you can lead a happy, joyful, and engaged life going beyond your faith transition. Most of the people who do watch this are coming from an LDS or Mormon background, though I've worked with and helped people from many different faiths and cultures. So if you hear terminology related specifically to LDS or Mormon, that's why, as the majority are from that. However, if you have questions about terminology, please do let me know. Let's dive into this about how to really get real with yourself. Now you might be wondering, what am I talking about? I want to help you really learn to evaluate yourself in a positive way through a technique that I like to use with people, and actually started using this more when I was helping people strive to reach their health goals. And then started using this a lot in helping people in faith transition. It just looks a little bit or a lot different whenever our focus is going beyond our faith transition. I first want to talk about humility. Humility is a great attribute, but it doesn't mean criticize yourself. We got to get rid of this idea that we need to criticize ourselves or that we need to talk down about ourselves. That is not what humility is about. The reality is you are making a very courageous step. There's doubt in this transition and step that you're taking. There's confusion at times, not to mention the overt and covert scrutiny that you get from others. We need to relearn how to actually get real with ourselves while still progressing forward. Criticism is not the answer. Let go of this idea that you're just a piece of the sand or anything of that nature, that you're just a small nothing. That is not true. The reality is you have so much in you. You have so much to give to the world. You have so much to give to your community, to give to yourself, to your relationships, to your partner, whatever it may be, your workplace. There is so much that you have to offer. And you are not just a little human being. In fact, I've worked with so many different people. I used to work, with people coming out of Denver gang unit, people who had big federal felonies, and still I could see just the power that these people had despite these huge mistakes that were made. And then I've worked with people who have tried their hardest in life and feel like they're nothing. It is so not true. You have so much power in you. And I hope that as you do watch some of my videos, you'll feel more and more of that. I hope that you really will feel that I'm not just being cheesy when I say, I believe you have tons of greatness in you. And it's only going to become brighter. So let's talk about this here. I kind of got off on a little tangent there, and sometimes that happens. But what I want to talk about of how to get real with yourself, let's make this practical. Because I can't just say, hey, man, or whoever you are, get real with yourself and good luck. I want to talk about a specific idea and some twist to this to really drive this home, to build yourself up while also evaluating yourself. So I want to talk to you about meeting with yourself on a weekly basis. We all hear that, but how many of us actually meet with ourselves on a weekly basis? This is critical. And if you if you create a specific day and time during which you will meet with yourself, Typically, a good time are Sundays, Monday mornings for people, but the majority of the time, people like to meet with themselves on Sundays. And you need to put this on your calendar. It has to be put in your calendar of when you will meet with yourself, and then treat that as this very sacred time, because guess what? You are worth that sacred time. You need to give yourself 20, 30 minutes. That's all it takes each week. And you may not feel, because maybe you have a lot of obligations, a lot of things going on in life, you may feel too busy for that. But here's the thing. You need this time to get real with yourself. If you want to find joy in your journey and be able to sustain some happiness along the way, we've got to make time. So first and foremost, make time in your calendar to meet with yourself on a weekly basis, and schedule that out. Put it in your calendar for the weeks and months and the year to come. And I'm very serious about that. I practice this myself. Now, first I want you to ask yourself, let me back up here. I'm going to give you 8 different things to think about in kind of a little format. And there's also a little sheet that you can download that we'll email over to you if you would like to, that you can print off or save to help you remember these 8 things and apply them. So what did you enjoy last week is point number 1 when you meet with yourself. So if you're meeting with yourself, start off with a good mindfulness activity or meditation or prayer, whatever it may be. And I recognize me saying prayer might be a trigger for some people, but wherever you're at, have a time to get centered and to get grounded, and then ask yourself, what did I enjoy last week? If we're really here going through this life, no matter what your current belief system is or is not, but if we're here just to go through it to just suffer, that doesn't even make sense to me. There's got to be some enjoyment, but we have to reflect on the past week to enjoy that. What did we enjoy from last week? We've got to first reflect on that and write down a few things that you did enjoy from last week. And then second point is, what did you learn last week? Whether it's in personal study that you're doing, personal development, or just had a situation at work or in relationships and you learned something, write down 1, 2, 3 things that you learned last week. The third point, progress towards specific goals. What progress did you make? You notice these first 3 things, there's no self-criticism here. Now I'm teaching you to get real with yourself through this transition process and in this planning process, but these first 3 points have nothing to do with criticizing yourself. And even the fourth one doesn't. The fourth point is, what were 1 or 2 being or aspirational goals that you're working on? I always like to say it is absolutely imperative, not just good, but imperative, to be working on becoming a better person. That's what I call the being goals. We're human beings after all. We set a lot of goals about what we're going to do, but what about being a human being? And so you want to look at these aspirational goals or being goals. For example, this month is about connection for me. Connection with my kiddos. It's a very busy month. Connection with my wife. Okay? And how am I doing with that? I set specific goals each week to be able to connect in a better way. It could be integrity. It could be whatever you want it to be. Kindness. But have 1 or 2 being goals that you revisit each week, that you're continuing to work on. Okay? Point number 5 is relationships. Evaluate your relationships with your partner, your spouse, family, friends, whoever those relationships may be with. How am I doing? And here's the key. If you feel like there's some things that you need to work on, which there probably is, welcome to the club. Don't just say, yeah, man, I should get better at that, or I should be better. Get rid of the shoulds, first off, But then second, anytime that there's something you want to improve, make a plan to improve that. Don't just say, that's something I want to get better at. Put time in your calendar to improve upon that. Don't just be mean to yourself or criticize yourself. Again, the transition you're going through, there's enough of that self-doubt. There's enough, whether people are trying to be mean or not, people judging you right now. This isn't about judging yourself. It's about saying what's going well in this relationship, what's not going well, and what are one or two things I can do to improve these specific relationships. Never end it as, oh, I should get better at that, or I want to. Put a plan to it. Very important. Health. Point number 6. What are you doing over this next week to improve your health? Your movement, your nutrition, your sleep, your mental conditioning, your physiological conditioning. What are you doing? Focus on one or two things. Don't say, oh, I should get better at this. No. Put a few things on your calendar. Write it down. If it's not written down, it's not going to happen, my friend. You got to write it down. Point number 7, work. What do you want to improve upon at work? Evaluate how you're doing at work. Are there projects that need more attention? Or are there things that you can eliminate? Always look to eliminate things. You probably have been taught a lot of your life that, busy is good, that you just need to go work and out of duty and stuff like that. Well, no, let's look at what we really want to be doing in the workplace and what we can eliminate, what we can make easier, so that we're not feeling so overwhelmed. Because the last thing you need right now is extra overwhelm. But at the same time, I don't want you to lose your job. There are people who will lose their jobs or just not be able to work while going through FA transition, and that breaks my heart. Instead, let's look at how do we need to navigate this? Or maybe, are you doing the opposite, where you're over-engaging and you're avoiding your own personal journey and progression because you're throwing yourself into work, and now you're working 70, 80 hours a week because you don't want to feel the pain of what you're going through in your journey. Be very careful about that. Evaluate and make goals accordingly. Okay? Perfect. Point number 8. I love this one. I want you to list 2 ways in which you are strong and beautiful. Now, if you're a guy and you're listening to this, you're like, beautiful? Like, what are you talking about, Drew? No, I mean it, man. I believe, whether you're male, female, or you're not sure how you identify at this point, it doesn't matter. You are beautiful. And I mean that. Beauty is in all of us. Sometimes we squash it. Sometimes we do hide it. But we need to look at and get real with ourselves of how we are beautiful and strong. Now, here I want you to consider this quote by Ellen DeGeneres that I absolutely love, how she defines beauty, and then I'll share with you what I mean by beauty here in just a second. So Ellen DeGeneres says, true beauty is not related to what color your hair is or what color your eyes are. True beauty is about who you are as a human being, your principles, your moral compass. That's beauty. I like how she defines that, your moral compass, about who you are as a human being. That's what we're talking about, beauty. And when I talk about beauty, I'm talking about the energy that you carry down to a biological level. What energy are you carrying? How are you being creative in your life? And when I say creative, how are you developing your hobbies, your skills? What are you creating a garden? Are you making other things just for the sake of creativity? We as human beings, we know this through a lot of science and good research, that we find a lot of joy when we are allowing ourselves to be creative. And that is beauty. When we allow ourselves to be creative. Develop those talents and skills that you got. The world needs those, whatever they are. And then the third piece to beauty, so I've said energy, creativity, and love. How are you showing love to other people? You see, when we get caught up in these transitions, and I know kind of going through it silently for 3 years, that we feel a lot of anger, and that's okay. You are allowed to feel anger. You're allowed to feel whatever emotion, ugly, wonderful, it doesn't matter what that emotion is that comes up. You're allowed to feel that. But also, I want you to get real with yourself about how are you showing love to everyone, even people who might be judging you. You don't have to argue with them. In fact, stop arguing with them. Just love them. Most of the time when people are judging you or misunderstand you or don't try to understand you, it's not because of really who they are. It's because of the bigger culture. It's because of what they've been taught. Now, sure, they need to own that. We all need to own it. But we do need to ask that question sometimes. Would I say that, or would I have thought that way 5, 10 years ago? A lot of times when I ask myself that, it's yes. We need to continue to love every person with whom we interact. And when we do, that is a key component to true beauty. So we have energy, creativity, and love. And I want you to write down 2 ways in which you are strong and beautiful each week. Try to look for different ways. And if you can't right now find more than 2 different ways or 2 different ways each week, come back to the same ones, but I want you to write it every week. And maybe make some plans of how you can improve upon your creativity or increase that energy, or how you can love better. Don't criticize yourself, make plans. That's key. So to recap these 8 things, what did you enjoy last week? What did you learn last week? Progress towards specific goals. 1 to 2 being or aspirational goals. Relationships, health, work, and 2 ways that you are strong and beautiful. Alrighty, my friend, I hope that this will help you get real with yourself in a way that is not critical, in a way that doesn't bring you down, but lifts you up and helps you find joy amidst the journey. I truly do believe you are a beautiful person. And if you're a guy sitting across from me, I mean it just the same. I believe in you. Keep with this. There's a lot of people who have your back. I've got your back. Let us know how we can be of help. Please do share this. I want to get this word out as much as possible. And also, if you'd like to learn about the Beyond Transition coaching that I do, please do click the link that is in the little web banner thing here on this channel, and we can chat. All right, hope you have a good one. Thank you so much for watching this, and have a wonderful week. We'll be talking next week.